Well, hello and welcome to the Jammin Jukebox radio show. I am your host, DJ Delta Dawn, and so glad to be here with you on this great evening. And I hope that your day was well today. I hope it was a good day. It was for me, and the week is already flying by. I don't know about you, but it is just going by so fast, which is okay because I live for my Fridays and my weekends, as I know many of you do. I want to welcome all the listeners this evening, and if you're brand new to our program and you're a first-time listener, welcome aboard. We're so glad to have you here as well. And wow, you picked a great night to tune in if you're a first-timer with us, because our artist tonight is just absolutely phenomenal. She is young but so immensely talented. I mean, my gosh, she's 17 years old, folks. But her voice doesn't sound 17. She sounds well beyond her years. But the thing that's most mind-blowing for me when I was kind of researching on her and getting my facts together for this evening is I came across this little fact, and it just blew my mind, which I'm going to ask her about in just a few moments. But she has written over 200 folks, songs. And she's only 17. She's also written a full-length Broadway musical, and she's performed around the country. I mean, she did all this by the time she was 17. Now, I may be corrected because she may not be 17 now, but this is no small accomplishment. I mean, these are huge things for this artist. She has a great song called Stand Up that has been really getting a lot of airplay in the indie world, and is just about to release a brand new song called Wild Card, and I must tell you, both songs are off the chain good. So without further ado, I would love to introduce to you this evening Breanna Lynn. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm good, and I have to ask you right out of the gate, are you 17 or are you older than 17 now?
I actually am 17. I am turning 18 in a few weeks, but I like to stay as young as possible. So for right now, I am 17.
Well, I mean, when you get my age, it might become more important to take a stand on that. But at your age, it's perfectly okay. Well, I wanted to make sure because I want to make sure I wasn't misspeaking in any way about your age because, as I was saying in the intro, it is very, very impressive. I mean, for anyone really, regardless of age, to not only write over 200 songs, but also write a full-length Broadway musical. But for you to do that and be the age you are, that is unbelievable. So let's just launch into this. I really have to ask you, how did you get into music? I mean, was it something that just kind of bit you early on, or did this kind of happen along the way somewhere?
Well, honestly, I mean, I have had music, like, in my blood ever since I was young. My aunt was actually a famous opera singer in Germany, and she used to sing a note, and then I would copy that note by the age of, 2. And so ever since then, I have been singing around the house. I mean, you can ask my parents. They're just like, oh, stop singing. But so I've just been, loving music my whole life, especially in my middle school years. It's really what helped me get through some of the tough times that I've had, kind of with bullying issues. Music has just been my outlet. So I can say that I've been a musician all my life.
Well, and to hear you say, I mean, I've seen your pictures, and I've actually visited your YouTube channel, which is absolutely wonderful, by the way. But to see you, it is, and then to hear you say that you had bullying issues in school just blows my mind because you are gorgeous, and I can't imagine you being bullied. But I'm on the flip side of that, I'm thinking, look at all these people now who bullied you, and look at where you are. I mean, my goodness, So touche to them, right?
Right, exactly.
Well, I must tell you, you are very talented. I mean, you can tell that this is so your thing to do. I mean, this is your element, your niche, and your music is absolutely wonderful. And I will say that we premiered Wild Card on our radio show last Saturday night, and it was phenomenal. I mean, the first time I listened to it, I was like, oh, my gosh, this song is such a hit. And you're just one of those artists, Breanna Lynn, that I scratched my head when I got your music, and I was like, why is she not already signed to a major record label? This is insane.
Thank you.
Really and truly, I mean that. You are so good. And let's talk a little bit about your music because before I ever heard your music, I looked at your pictures and things like that your publicist and agency had given me. And I immediately thought you were going to be like along the country vein. And then when I started listening to your music, it was pop oriented. And what made you choose that style or that genre of music?
Well, I can honestly tell you that I was country pop for a really long time. I started trying to go for a career about maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. And as a young singer-songwriter, I didn't really know anything different because, my producers were telling me, oh, go for the country vein because those, they have great fans and it's a lot of fun. And so I did do that for a while and I did enjoy it. But after a time, I realized that wasn't kind of who I was. That wasn't the actual genre that I wanted to be, at least at that time. So I decided to start going into the pop world a little bit. I'm kind of heading towards like indie pop alternative a little bit. Like some of my inspirations are like Lorde, Ellie Goulding, some of those artists where when you listen to their music, you just want to get up and dance. So that's kind of the direction that I'm heading. And my pictures, sometimes when people see me, they see me as either a young Tori Amos or a country singer, but I'm trying to head more the indie route.
Well, and I think it suits you well, but you're the kind of artist, though. I mean, your voice, I think, is so diverse because you could easily sing country pop or you could sing pop or, indie or whatever it is you wanted to sing. I think you've got one of those unique voices that really does lend itself to being able to allow you to be a lot of latitude in your creativity as an artist, which I think is awesome because I don't know if you've noticed, but mainstream music is so like boxed. Everything is kind of boxed into one category or one genre, and there's not a lot of breadth with that. It just isn't. And so that's one thing I love about indie artists, and you're kind of one of those exceptions to the rule that really does have a lot of ability to just be as creative as you want to be, which I think is just awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because, ever since I started writing, I've been writing a bunch of different genres. And I know that many people have told me, they're like, if you want to go mainstream, you're going to have to write songs that in the long run kind of all sound the same. But for me, that's never been an option because I find that listening to an album where I can't differentiate the songs, that just gets really boring after a while. So what I decided to do was just make songs that could stand on their own as well as be part of an album. So I'm glad that's recognized.
And I love the fact that you're doing that because music needs that. And that's another incredible thing about the indie music world because so many indie artists have that ability. And the music that's being put out, it really does give listeners a lot of variety from one artist. And the fact that you're brave enough to do that and, you're not allowing yourself to get boxed in, I think is incredible, and it's going to serve you well for many, many years to come down the road.
Oh, I hope so. Thank you.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the song Stand Up because it is a great song, by the way, and it's got a really catchy tune. The words and lyrics are wonderful. And what was your inspiration behind it and that helped you write this song?
Well, honestly, it's funny because I can usually remember every place that I was when I wrote a song, and this song is no exception. I remember the night that I wrote it, I was sitting in my room and just feeling really dejected because I felt like, I should be doing more things. I should be inspiring people. I should be helping people. And yet I'm here, just kind of not really doing anything because I'm too afraid to, because I'm afraid that I'm going to fail. And so that's where the idea for Stand Up came, where I wanted to inspire not only myself but others to just take a stand. And because I think what happens is, especially for teenage years, us teenagers, we're so focused on just living our lives and just kind of surviving high school. We're focused on trying to have friends, trying not to rock the boat too much. And if something comes along, even if it's something that we are really passionate about, but if it's too scary or if it makes us take a leap of faith, it's really hard for us to go and do that, because we just think, okay, well, you know what, it's better to just be kind of like in this lukewarm pool of just living life how it's supposed to be, instead of, you know, taking the chance and leaping for something more. And so what I wanted to do with this song is inspire other people and just say, you know what, it's okay to take that leap of faith. That is one that you're not going to regret, because I know for me personally, I don't want to be at my deathbed and look back and say, wow, I could have done so much. I could have used the gifts that I've been given, and I could have helped people, but instead I was too afraid to. So I think that's what this song is about. It's just about letting go of those insecurities and just standing up for what you believe in and taking a stand against what you think is wrong.
Breanna Lynn, I have to give you major mad props, because to be 17 years old, you really do have a good foothold on what life is really all about. And to be as young as you are and to already have that and grasp that, you're just so beyond your years, because everything you just said is so true. You know, everyone, even adults, I think there are many adults out there. This song is not just for teens. I think it can serve a purpose for many people who are looking for that, you know, that it moment, or that moment where they're making that difference. And there's so many people that have that yearning and desire to do that. They just don't know what to do. And so the point you made about, I don't want to be on my deathbed and look back and say, I wish I could have done this or that. The leap of faith is what it's all about. You know,
exactly.
And especially if you're a music artist, that really does come into play. It's the leap of faith, because that is such a gamble anyway. You don't know how that's going to go when you start putting your music out there and you're trying to get it promoted. You don't know how it's going to be accepted or received. You just have to believe in yourself and take that leap of faith, you know?
Exactly.
Well, that is
exactly
great.
Right.
It makes me love the song all the more now that I know the story behind it. I mean, that's awesome. And so your brand new song, you got a brand new song coming out called Wild Card, and you know, it's another great Breanna Lynn song. But talk a little bit about that song and how that one was born.
Well, it's funny with that one. When we first came to the producer who was going to be working with me after these first two songs, which is Stand Up, and the next one, the third one we'll be releasing, which is called Good Enough. You know, we were just going to do those songs, and then we started just, like, playing. I mean, he started playing guitar, I started singing, and we came up with this crazy idea that we call Wild Card. And, you know, we were trying to think of a title for it, and we couldn't think of anything better than that. Wild Card is about just letting go and celebrating. And I think it's also kind of like a triumphant song, because the lyrics, it says, there'll be bottles popping, nothing's stopping me. The world will know my name, I guarantee. And it's basically about kind of my hopes in my music career. I'm just like, you know what? So many people have told me that I couldn't do it. I couldn't be someone. I came from a small town, and they said, Breanna, you're crazy to move to California. You're crazy to pursue this. Nobody makes it in this industry. But Wild Card is basically my letter to them, saying, you know what? I am going to succeed, and I know that I can do this, and there is nothing stopping me from here on out.
And that is, I love your confidence, because you really have to have a lot of that in order to be in this business too. And I think you know, it's also, it goes back to the belief in oneself that I was just speaking about. I mean, you have to first believe in your abilities to be able to succeed at anything. And if you have the confidence, you definitely will succeed. I mean, you're already succeeding. What am I talking about? You know, it's not a matter of are you going to. You have, and you are, and that's what's so great about this. Well, they're both great songs, and you're, I mean, you've written over 200 songs, and I just have to ask you, I mean, obviously that's a lot of songs, and how does your writing, I mean, take place? Do these things just kind of come to you in spurts? I know you've been writing for a very long time as it is. Or do you carve out time in your day to just get stuff down, recorded or on paper or on the computer? How does it all work for you?
Well, honestly, ever since I was 12, which is when I started really, truly writing, I have never been able to, unless I'm co-writing with someone, I've never been able to just sit down and be like, I'm going to write a song today. Like, that never works for me. I don't know why. It works for some people. But honestly, like you said, songs for me come in spurts. Like, there are days I've written 2 songs, like, in a day at one point. And then I can go weeks without writing a song. That drives me crazy, by the way, when that happens. But it's just all about kind of allowing the inspiration to come to me whenever it's going to, because I've realized that if I force it, that's when the songs don't turn out the way that I want them to. They don't sound inspired. They're kind of weaker. But if I just allow that inspiration to come to me, if I'm inspired by something that's happened in my life and I'm able to write it, that's when the songs are the most powerful.
Oh yeah, and you know, and writing songs is no different than writing books. You can't just sit down and force it. It's got to come, you know, on its own.
Yeah,
and it does make for a better story, song, or whatever it may be, if you just allow it to come on its own, because it flows. Then, you know, there's no writer's block.
Right, exactly.
You know, well, I mean, you have got so much going on, and talk a little bit about some things that you've got coming down the rest of the pipes, you know, in 2013 and ahead into 2014 even.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have some really exciting stuff coming on. Like you said, I'm going to be releasing Wild Card in the next couple of months, which is going to be awesome. I'm also going to be releasing my song called Good Enough, probably in the new year. Basically, my band and I are just getting together, and we are working on these songs as we speak and just making them perfect, and we're putting a whole set together of songs that nobody's ever heard before. And what we're hoping to do is take those songs on the road and just go for it. Another thing that we're trying to do is I might be starting a nonprofit organization at some point soon, which will kind of do what we were talking about, of just helping inspire teens as well as adults to just stand up and to make a difference where they feel the passion. So I'm really excited for some of the things coming up. It's going to be a fun ride.
No doubt. And I have to say, you are quite a visionary. I mean, you really, to be so young, you really have some really firm ideas of where you want your career to head. And not only that, but some things you want to do outside of that. And to that note, I want to talk to you a little bit about this. I mean, you, at the age of 16, I mean, you've always been a big advocate against bullying because you were bullied. I mean, you got involved with that. And you know, different organizations, but you also created a short film for middle and high schools called Break the Chain Campaign. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, Break the Chain Campaign, it encompasses a lot of different things. Like, one of them is a short film, which we're still kind of in the works with. We're editing it and making it perfect. But Break the Chain is really an assembly that was designed for high school as well as middle schools, where I would come in, I would play some of the music that I've written inspired by, you know, some of the bullying experiences that I've had. And then I would talk to these teens and these kids just kind of about how we can stop bullying, because, as you know, it has become a complete epidemic where it is taking over schools, and it is just ruining people's lives, ruining their confidence, ruining their view of themselves, making them feel worthless when in all reality they're precious. So what I want to do is I want to go into different schools at some point, and I want to be able to help these kids realize their full potential, as well as hopefully, you know, put down some of the bullying that is currently happening. So I want to talk to the victims as well as the bullies, and hopefully make a difference in that way.
Oh, wow. And, you know, and you're the first and only person I've ever heard that wants to reach out to the bullies to try to bridge those gaps, you know, between the bullies and those who are being bullied. And I think that's awesome, because really that's where it starts. It's with the bullies themselves. And the bullies, you know, there's a root cause for why they do what they do. And that's the big component, is trying to figure out what causes you to do this. You know,
exactly,
and will help them overcome it. Now, recently I was reading that you also started a nonprofit organization called Breanna Lynn, Lost and Found. And gosh, I mean, you are just an innovator, but you are really plugged into the greater good of helping others. Talk a little about this as well, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you know, Lost and Found is actually a name that I came up with when I was 10, and at that point what I wanted it to be was to, when I had money, which I was 10, so I didn't, was to make a home for for runaway teens. That was kind of my idea. However, since I've been growing up, since I've been getting older, I started to, mold that idea a bit. And now what Breanna Lynn's Lost and Found is all about, when we get it together, it's going to be an app as well as a website. And it's going to be a way for teens and adults where they can go onto this app. They can put in their location as well as what they're passionate about, whether that be fighting against bullying, fighting against animal abuse, in the environment. They can put in what they're passionate about, and then this app will find different organizations in their area as well as national ones that they can get plugged into and where they can start, feeling like they're making a difference and really help people. Because I think that what happens is that a lot of us, we are so passionate about things and we want to help people for the greater good, but we just don't know how. It's hard for us to be like, oh, this is exactly where I need to go, because sometimes we just need a little bit of a push in the right direction. So that's what I'm hoping to accomplish with this organization, and it's something that we're continually working on, and hopefully we'll have that up and running really soon.
Oh, gosh. You are so busy and so young, and all I can think is being 17 years old, and you've already got so many things in the works that are so positive and uplifting and inspiring. I can't begin to imagine, 20 years from now, what you're going to be doing for this world, this country. I'm very inspired by you right now. So,
thank you.
It's just amazing, and you really are a real testament to the fact that sometimes it just takes one person and one idea to make this incredible difference in the lives of so many, and to be able to impact lives in a big way. And with your organizations, you definitely are going to be able to do that, which I think is just absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you. I hope so.
Now, as far as all of this, are you actually going to be playing? I know you said that you would like to put together a tour at some point, but are you playing any kind of mini gigs anywhere, in your local area, or are you doing any of that? Are you going to have any, possibly, are you working on any holiday music too?
Oh, actually, I didn't think about that. I might work on some holiday music. That's a good idea. I'll start writing some Christmas songs. But, as of right now, like I was saying, my band and I are working on our set. And once we have the set completely down, everyone can go onto my website, which is BreannaLynnMusic.com, and my Facebook, Breanna Lynn Music. And you guys can see all of the different events and concerts that we're going to have. So at this point, we are just perfecting our set, making it amazing and awesome, and then we will start posting about where we're playing very soon.
Well, that's awesome. And yes, the reason I asked you about holiday music is because we are now accepting holiday music from indie artists, because we will be doing some all holiday music indie artist showcases moving forward in the coming holiday season, which, gosh, is just around the corner if you think about it.
Yeah.
The month of October is already flying, and so yes, I mean, if you have any of that in the works, please send it our way. We'd love to help get that out there and promote it as well.
Oh,
so,
of course.
Well, I tell you, you are one of the most inspiring people I have ever met, and I love your energy, and I love your fire in terms of your passion for the things that you believe in and how you are working to make such an incredible difference, not only in your own life, but in the lives of those that you encounter. And and to think, all of this was inspired because you were bullied when you were younger, and you have elected to do something about that to make a change, and I think that's just awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, actually, something I want to say is that for anybody who's listening who has been bullied, who feels like they're not worth anything because that's what people have told you, I just want to remind you that really there is hope, and that this stage of your life, it does end. Because I remember, in my middle school days as well as even high school, I thought that was going to go on forever. I thought that I was going to have friend issues my whole life, that nothing would ever be okay again. But it's because of those experiences that I'm now doing what I'm doing. So I just want to encourage anybody who's listening that if you are having those issues, I want you to know that there is hope, and you can take that and use it to help other people.
Yeah, most definitely. Very, very good advice. And it's the kind of advice that needs to be repeated over and over to remind those who are bullied that there is hope, and there is something that can be done about it. You do not have to remain silent, if you are a victim of this. And that's really where the key is, speaking out and telling someone, to get the help you need to overcome it. And and so with all of your great resources that you're putting together, you're going to be giving so many teens the opportunity to have things they can draw upon to help them with this. And that's incredible. Just absolutely incredible.
Oh, thank you so much.
Breanna Lynn, I can't thank you enough for being our special guest this evening. It has been such a pleasure speaking with you, and I will tell you now, live on air, as you get these organizations up and running full force, and I know you're going to, we'd love to have you back anytime to talk about that, any new music that you have coming out, and just any aspect of your career that you want to talk about. We'd love to have you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome talking to you.
Oh, likewise. Well, take care. God bless, and best of luck for much continued success in all that you do.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, you do the same. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Is she not one of the most inspirational young women you have ever seen in your life? 17 years old, folks, and she has done some amazing things already. It's like I said, I can't even begin to imagine things she is going to accomplish as she goes down the road of life. If she's already doing these great things now, wow, so beyond her years, and in maturity and in vision, and the world really needs more people like Breanna Lynn. And unfortunately, we were going to play both of her songs, Stand Up and Wild Card, today. But unfortunately, we were having some difficulties with the uploading process of the music and the processing of it. And it's sitting here as I'm looking in my studio, it is still processing. So I can't play these songs for you. However, when we are on air next time, I will make good on this, and we will be sure to bring both songs to you for your listening pleasure, because I must tell you, they are incredible songs. And let me give you some information on Breanna Lynn. If you want to visit her website, as she said, it's BreannaLynnMusic.com, and a great website. Lots of information, has everything there you could ever need. But also, if you want to visit her on Twitter, it's Bree Lynn Music, B-R-E Lynn, L-Y-N-N Music. And you can also visit her Facebook page at Breanna Lynn Music as well, and stay up on all the things that she is doing. So just absolutely incredible artist. She has a bright future ahead, and no doubt she is going to go on to accomplish many, many great things and serve her purpose well here on this earth. So that is actually going to wrap our show for this evening, folks. And just really quick, want to tell you who our guest is for tomorrow evening. We have, and I'm very excited about this, we have returning to the Jammin Jukebox radio show, Shauna Burns. We had her on back several months ago talking about her music, her career. She's just released a brand new album called Violet, and she is actually going to be here at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night talking about her brand new album and what she's been up to since we last chatted with her. So we definitely look forward to that. And with that, I'm going to tell everyone good night and have a great evening. Thank you so much again for being with us. We want to give major thanks to Breanna Lynn for being our special guest. And if you're brand new to our program, you're a newcomer, welcome aboard, and we certainly hope to see you back here again real soon. Take care, all. Have a great night, and we'll see you again tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Same time, same place. Good night.
Thanks for listening to tonight's show. You can connect with Jammin Jukebox Radio Show on Twitter at Jammin Jukebox or on Facebook at Jammin Jukebox Radio Show. Check out our website at thejamminjukebox.com. Also, follow us on Blog Talk, where you will be always up to date on every episode as we add it. Each episode is available for immediate download upon the conclusion of each broadcast, and as always, on iTunes. Thank you for joining us.